Have you ever noticed how often we introduce ourselves by explaining what we've been through? Our past becomes our identity without us even realizing it. Hi, I'm Michelle. Welcome to the Freedom Habit, where we break the patterns that keep pulling you back and build a life that you don't have to escape from. When I talk about the story, I don't mean just something dramatic or traumatic. I mean the mental narrative we carry about who we are. The story of where we came from, what we've been through, why we are the way we are. It can be a painful story, a healing story, even a success story. Most of us don't realize how tightly we're holding on to it because it feels personal. It feels like us. But there's a quiet question that I've been asking myself that I want to explore today. Who are we without referring back to the story? The story is not the self. The story is something that the mind creates, but you're the one who's aware of the story. And that matters more than we realize. Stories give us a sense of identity. They explain us, they justify us, and they help us make sense of our lives. And that can be helpful. But stories also have an emotional gravity. They pull us back into the same feelings, the same roles, and even the same inner conversations. And even the healing story can become what we cling to, because without it, we're not sure who we are. Before you had words and before memory organized itself into a storyline, before you knew who you were supposed to be, you were already here. Awareness comes first and the story comes later. In the beginning, there was just experience, seeing, feeling, responding to life without commentary, no labels, no explanations, no identity to defend. You didn't need to explain yourself to exist. Think about a small child. They don't introduce themselves by telling you what they've been through. They don't explain their past to justify how they feel, and they don't carry a personal narrative. They simply are. They laugh, cry, explore, rest without needing to turn it into a story about who they are. Nothing is missing there. Nothing needs to be added. Over time, we learn to describe ourselves, then we learn to define ourselves, and eventually we confuse those descriptions with our identity. But here's the distinction. You don't become yourself through explanation. You discover yourself by resting underneath it. Meaning is not the same as identity. Your experience may have meaning and your story may be important, but you are not made of words. You are the awareness that has been there all along. You are the awareness that has been there all along. Yes, I wanted to repeat that because of how important that is. You are the awareness that has been here all along. Before the story, during the story, and after the story. And you know what's great? There is a quiet freedom in not needing to explain who you are. You don't owe your past as proof. You don't need a backstory to exist. You don't have to narrate yourself to be real. You're allowed to be simple again. And I highly recommend that you do this every day for at least 15 minutes. Just kind of sit with yourself and your thoughts and just allow them to come and pass over and not claim anything and kind of get into that habit. It's that quiet sense of I am without history and without explanation. It's not emptiness, it's home. Your story, it might be meaningful, but it's not your identity. You are the one who's aware of the story, and that is far more spacious than you've ever been taught to believe. If what I'm saying is resonating with you today, Drop a comment down below and say, I'm ready to give up my story. It's not my identity. And please feel free to subscribe and hit that little bell over in the corner so that you get notifications whenever we put up a new video. All right, thanks for joining me today. Keep choosing freedom. We're believing the best for you. Have a great day.